a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Hello, fellow nature nuts. This time around, our topic of interest is going to be the weird, eight-legged, creepy, crawly, eight-eyed, eight-footed, web-spinning world of spiders. I'm kind of excited about this, but I have to tell you, if you're still watching and you don't like spiders, take heart. I used to detest spiders when I was younger. In fact, for most of my life. It wasn't a full-blown spider phobia where you go running, screaming, and your heart races and all that kind of thing. But it was a definite fear and loathing of spiders. But I got over that. I love spiders. I really, really do find them interesting. Have a look at this one. This is a large wolf spider from Arizona. I borrowed it from my friend Terry at the Provincial Museum, another one of my spider-loving friends. And have a look at this. She's a female, and she has the most wonderful face because wolf spiders are active during the day, so they have big eyes. A lot of spiders have little beady eyes. I don't like that very much. But this one has a great face, big, neat-looking eyes, big fangs below the eyes, and long, hairy legs. It's hairy in part because the baby wolf spiders, when they hatch out of the egg sac, they climb up on top of the mother's back, and they have special hairs that act as little handles so that all these hundreds of little babies can hold on when the mom goes running around. Very nifty. This spider, by the way, is very closely related to the original tarantula in England, or not England, pardon me, Europe. I don't know if it lives in England. I don't think it does. Anyway, the original tarantula is a wolf spider, not a real tarantula. We'll get to that in a bit. And it lives around the village of Taranto in Italy. And in Taranto, if you got bit by one of these things, you had to go dancing and drinking for 24, 36 hours at a stretch, and that would cure you. Of course, the spider wasn't poisonous in the first place. There are no historical records of how many people died from the dancing and drinking, but nobody died from the spider.
Well, nobody human, that is. These spiders can eat just about any creature smaller than themselves. At the museum, they feed this one crickets, a delicacy she seems to truly relish.
Oh, look, isn't she just wonderful? Just lovely. We have wolf spiders around here, too, and I live in Alberta. This is about as big as wolf spiders get where I live, but look at how simple it is to set yourself up a little spider enclosure, an arachnarium. Just a little jar, a lid made of paper towel that the spider can breathe through, held on with an elastic band. Then I throw in a little wet blob of paper towel so the spider always has something to drink. And every couple of days or every week or so, you throw in a fly or a baby cricket, and the spider has something to eat. All spiders are predators. But there are a lot of different kinds of spiders, about 30,000 different species of spiders worldwide, and it's a real challenge getting to learn the different groups of spiders, getting to know how to tell them apart. Well, before we get too deep into this spider thing, let's review what exactly a spider is. How do you tell it from all those other little buggy critters, those arthropods, those joint-legged animals? Well, here's one. You recognize that? That's a scorpion. It's almost a spider. It's a sort of arachnid, which is a subgroup of the arthropods. It gets confusing because there's millions of different species of arthropods on this planet. But scorpions, long tail, stinger, big claws out the front. No spiders got those. How about centipedes and millipedes? Tons and tons of legs. Can't confuse those with spiders. No way. And insects always have 6 legs. And the insects have 3 main body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. And most of them have 2 antennae out front for sniffing and smelling around, and wings, which are very good for flying. Spiders, on the other hand, always have 2 main body parts. The front part, which is called the cephalothorax, that's where the eyes and the head stuff is, and that's also where the legs attach. And the back part, called the abdomen, which contains the guts, the reproductive organs, and at the very back, the spinnerets, which are the little things that produce the silk, the web. Very interesting and a unique feature of spiders. Now, spiders also have 8 legs in 4 pairs. They also have a pair of little things that look like legs out front. Those are called the palps. They don't walk on the palps. And then at the front of the face, of course, the fangs, because all spiders are little carnivores, little predators. They don't eat plants, in other words. Now, if you want to identify spiders a bit more precisely, if you want to know exactly what species of spiders you're finding around your place, you'll need a field guide. This is my spider library. There are lots of very good books about spiders out there, but the best one for identifying spiders is probably this one, How to Know the Spiders by the late B.J. Caston. Fine book, very nicely illustrated. There are pictures of about 500 of the North American spiders in here, and there are of course many more species than that in North America. Let me show you my favorite illustration from this book. As Dr. Caston says, this is well worth trying. At night, spider eyes reflect light. They're like little jewels glowing in the grass. And one friend of mine told me he thought they looked like little trucks with headlights and running lights and that sort of thing. So, indeed, put on your headlamp. This is well worth trying. This could get you arrested, but it's well worth trying. You know, of all the spiders, the ones with the biggest personalities, the most nifty little ways of going about their business, they have to be the jumping spiders. Jumping spiders are active in the daytime. They have got great big eyes on the front of their head. They prowl around their little predators. They don't just spin webs and sit there, and they pounce on their prey. They have little displays they do to each other with their palps and shiny fangs, and I gotta tell you, they're great. They're definitely my favorite spiders. Now, there's a good healthy population of jumping spiders on the front of our house on the south facing side. They're probably on your house too. Salticus senecis, the zebra spider. In fact, there's one crawling up the stucco right behind me right now. Do you ever wonder what kind of bottles they grind up to make blue stucco? I wonder about it all the time. I like these zebra spiders, but there are some even cooler jumping spiders down along the high clay banks by the river and by the White Mud Creek. So why don't we go check those out now? You're gonna like them, I know it. This may not look like a great back to nature spot, but you know, the high sandstone and clay hillsides near the Quesnel Bridge in Edmonton, that's one of the top jumping spider hotspots in Western Canada. You get a real array of nifty species here. There are 2 species of Phidippus. Phidippus have eyebrow tufts of hairs. I wear my Phidippus glasses to stay in a Phidippus mood. You can find Phidippus borealis. It's a black and red jumping spider here. Phidippus johnsoni, which is reputedly semi-poisonous. Oh, wonderful things. I kept a Phidippus borealis in a terrarium, a wonderful little guy. It would eat crickets bigger than the jumping spider itself. Their eyes are so wonderful. The front eyes, they have very acute vision. They can see very minute details, and the retina, the actual light-sensitive part of the eye, moves back and forth, not the lens. Isn't that bizarre? There are also, on this hillside, little Habernatus jumping spiders. The males have modifications to the first pair of legs and the third pair of legs, and they do little dances to one another. Apparently, the most common one here
He holds his front legs in a little pattern like this, and then he has shiny palps with glistening scales on them, and he rotates them and makes this sort of movement toward the female while holding his legs like this. Very interesting display. You know, I mean, hey, they're spiders. They don't have really huge brains, but they do notice when they're being displayed to in that fashion. I found a female Habernatus, at least I think it's a female Habernatus. Have a look at her. She's so cute. A little teddy bear of a jumping spider. Now these are just the cutest little jumping spiders. Even people who totally detest spiders, they like these because they're such little teddy bears. They're so cute. They got round little faces. Now this, I'm not guaranteeing you that this is a female Habernatus. Might be something else. Maybe it's a Metaphidippus. You know, one of those spiritual kind of new age Phidippus. Look at her. She looks around. She has, hi guy or girl. Hee hee. They look around. They have a look of real intelligence to them because they're visual creatures. They live in the same world that we do. They're not little, you know, spiders that function only by touch or by smell. They function by sight. Humans are very much sight-oriented creatures too. Look at her, she's checking me out. She's looking at these glasses and going, hey, is that a male Phidippus? Wow, biggest one I ever saw. You know how they jump? They jump with blood pressure, not muscles. They just go, ugh, and their legs go, and away they go. Very cool. Well, there you have it. Heavy jumping spider action on the banks of the North Saskatchewan River. You know, just because this is a great place for jumping spiders doesn't mean they don't have enemies. There are tiger beetles running along this hillside. There are tiger beetle larvae in their burrows. And for those of you who remember our tiger beetle show, this is what a tiger beetle larva looks like when you get it out of the burrow. We didn't manage to do that on our tiger beetle show. And that's what they look like when they're sitting at the mouth of their burrow, ready to catch and eat a jumping spider.
The bola spider throws a blob of glue on the end of a strand of silk to catch passing moths in flight.
A tarantula. Actually, the tarantulas are a large group of very large spiders. The biggest spiders in the world are tarantulas, you know that? And the difference between tarantulas and their relatives and the rest of the spiders is that the tarantulas are part of the group called the orthognaths, sometimes referred to by the more familiar term megalomorph, which means that the fangs work like this, straight up and down. So you go, and fang their unfortunate victims. The rest of the spiders, the araneomorphs or the labidognaths, the fangs work side to side like a wolf spider, and they sort of, pulp up their prey that way. Equally vicious, equally disgusting, but structurally quite different and distinct. Now, tarantulas are very popular pet spiders, and some tarantulas, everyone has heard the terrible things about tarantulas and seen tarantula horror movies. Tarantulas in general are not poisonous animals. They're not dangerous animals. They're not going to, you're not going to die if you get bitten, although they have big fangs. And some of them are quite docile. That's the term that they use in the pet books. What they really mean is dim-witted, and this is a dim-witted tarantula. It's a Mexican red-legged tarantula, Euathlus smithi, a female. Come here, dude. Come here. There we go. Now look at that. She is just about as gentle as you could ask for. Isn't that lovely? And you see her little orthognath fangs and all that sort of things. Lovely animal. Very, very pretty. Very easygoing. If one of these things does bite you, it's about as it's going to be about as deep a wound as if you got bitten by a hamster. And to be honest with you, if I had to pick up either an unknown hamster or an unknown red-kneed tarantula, I'd pick the spider every time. Hamsters, now there's a vicious animal. Quite gorgeous, but she doesn't do much. I've had her for a while, and I really quite like her, but she's no real, major improvement over a plastic spider in a lot of different respects. Well, a little bit more beautiful. Let me tell you something else about these spiders. The tarantulas, at least the New World tarantulas, the thing to worry about is not so much being bitten. The thing to worry about is the fact that they will kick little hairs off the abdomen. Sorry, I didn't mean to breathe on you so profusely. They kick hairs off the abdomen, and these hairs are like little miniature porcupine quills, and they get into your skin and you can get a rash. Some people react quite strongly to it. The rash is, very itchy and quite red. And if you get them in your eyes, it can be very serious indeed.
The purse web spider lives inside a silken sac. When a fly lands on the sac, the spider jabs its fangs through the silk, cuts a hole, and pulls the dead fly inside to eat.
I used to hate spiders, but now they're my pals, and I'll tell you the reason why. I think it was 8 that I used to hate. 8 legs, 8 feet, 8 eyes. Wispy ones I feared the most. Fast as the wind they moved. They were hard to predict. They were hairy ones too, slowly creeping into my shoes. Arachnid, I was a scared kid. It was a fear that was hard to erase. I pulled the web from off of my face. I hated spiders, but now I'm better. So when the weekend rolls around, you'll find me searching for arachnids. I knew it was silly when I got the creeps. After all, I like beetles and slugs. So I started to learn about arachnids and the 8-legged things in the tub. I learned about widows, the poison recluse, and funnel webs deadly down under. But apart from those few, the rest are just wimps. My fears were soon cast asunder. Now the Solicus out by the front door is a sign that all is alright. And I fear not for Dippers Johnsoni. I'm over my spidery fright. When they're spinning their elegant orbs for some lunch to fly by and get stuck, I like them cause they don't make much noise, and their eyes make them look like a truck at night. Arachnids, I was a scared kid. It was a fear that was hard to erase, but I pulled the webs from off of my face. I hated spiders, but now I'm better. And when the weekend rolls around, you know where I'll be found, looking for arachnids. I was a scared kid. That fear was hard to erase, but I pulled those webs from off of my face. Arachnids, oh, arachnids, arachnids, woohoo, arachnids.
Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what about those spiders that spin webs? Every good spider show is full of stuff about how they spin the webs, how they make the radiating lines of non-sticky silk and then lay the sticky silk in a spiral. It's very complicated, very nifty, a little bit of arachnid engineering. But this is my spider show, and I prefer the hunting spiders, the ones with the big eyes, the jumping spiders and the wolf spiders. Still, I don't want you to feel disappointed, so I'm going to show you this little orb weaving spider. There are two groups that do the classic web, the flat web. The orb weavers with the round, fat abdomens, and the long-jawed orb weavers with the long, thin abdomens, usually in grasses. This little orb weaver just caught a midge, a non-biting fly that looks like a mosquito, a chironomid, wrapped it with silk, bit it, injected it with poison, and then sucked out its juices. How disgusting. They live in a world of touch. They feel vibrations on the strings of their webs. They're not just visual things like jumping spiders. Interesting, though. If you have trouble seeing spider webs in broad daylight, you can always take a spray bottle filled with regular water, and you can spray the webs, recreate the feeling of a nice dewy morning. When I go looking for spiders, they call me Mister. Excuse me. Oh,
That's nice. Picture no cowboy, dare to paint. If you want to go looking for spiders, don't worry about looking in the wrong places because spiders are just about everywhere. There's a nice messy web in the roots of this spruce tree, spider inside of it. But there are spiders, like I say, just about everywhere. You know what I mean. We've seen fishing spiders running on top of the water. We've seen crab spiders sitting in flowers waiting for pollinating insects to come by, and then the crab spiders ambush them. We've even seen money spiders, linyphiid spiders, running up on top of the snow in the winter. The only basic rule is they need something to eat. So wherever there's some other little bugs to munch upon, you'll find spiders.
If you step on a spider, it might rain the next day, or it might not. These two things have no significant connection to one another.
This is just about a perfect spot to look for wolf spiders. Some open area, lots of grass near the water. There's a couple of wolf spiders down on the logs there by the creek. The wolf spider and the members of the wolf spider family, they're not web-building spiders. When you go looking for wolf spiders, you don't look for wolf spider webs. They're hunting spiders. They run around on foot, they hunt their prey down, they have big eyes. Some spiders hunt. Those are my favorite kinds of spiders. Some are sit and wait spiders, and they'll just sit there and wait for something to come along. And some of them build webs to use as snares. Oh, there's a, look at that, there's a female wolf spider sunning her egg sac. They attach the egg sac to the spinnerets at the end of the abdomen, and when that thing is warm enough, all those little babies will come out. Very neat. Good spot to look for wolf spiders, and they're active in the middle of the day.
Well, I'm sorry to say we only have time for one more spider, but I did leave the very worst to the last. This is a female black widow, a sleek, shiny black spider with a red hourglass-shaped mark on the underside of her abdomen. It's one of the few species of spiders that is really and truly dangerous, potentially deadly. They're not aggressive, but if you do get bitten, what I've heard, it hurts like anything. It affects your nervous system, you have trouble breathing, and if you're really unlucky, you suffocate and die. This is not my black widow, by the way. I borrowed it from the Provincial Museum. Those white things there, those are egg sacs. Hundreds of little baby black widows will come out of them. People who keep black widows in their own houses, they're just not thinking as clearly as they could, asking for trouble. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our arachnid adventure. I did. So until next time, I'm a nature nut, and I'm not afraid of spiders. I hope you are too. See you later. Messy web, eh?
Same time each and every week, uncensored and uncut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.